Well, good afternoon, everybody. Afternoon, Jules. Racing Back is back.
Yes.
Yeah, the verdict on Balaton Park, some good, some not so good. No change at the front, but what a ride by Jorge Martin. Great to see him back. Cadwell Park, wow.
Okay.
What a first race that was between Kyle Ride and Bradley Ray and everything about that. A few Cadwell memories, I think, from me. Just if
Of
you
course.
think things were getting too interesting, I thought I'd just throw a few things. And then something Julian would know a lot more about than me, but somebody I've admired, probably from a distance more than close up. Jonathan Ray announcing his retirement from the World Superbike Championship, and certainly all the facts say, and we're obviously discussing that he is the greatest rider ever in the World Superbike Championship. Well, we've had lots of people writing in and sending messages in, and especially from places like Australia and America, and that really, really pleases us. I mean, Julian and I love doing this, but when we get such things, that is absolutely fantastic. And we've got a few questions, so I have to now test if I can work all this out about a few questions. Here we go then. Right. Kind gentleman, we like this gentleman. Barry Rose. This is as good as sitting down with my bike mates and talking about past riders and races and talking about what's going on now. Love to buy you a pint sometimes, you guys.
We like it.
We like that one, don't we?
Yeah, in the glory days of Cycle magazine, there used to be a sign up in the office that said, if you ain't telling it like you're telling it to your mates down the lightning bar, you ain't telling it.
No, well, and I think that's the real basis of what we're trying to do, isn't it?
And it's the basis of good motorcycle magazine, journalism, all sorts of things.
Yeah. We meet every Wednesday, not tonight, there's football tonight, but the Bear and Ragged staff come now. All ex-motorcycle racers, apart from my good self, who wrote about it but didn't do it. And we chew away all night long. And I've heard the stories, I've heard the stories at least 50 times of various things. But I tell you what, they're just as good as they ever were. And I often think that's exactly how we want to make things, isn't it, Jules? Very much so.
Absolutely. I'm glad Mr. Rose, was it? It was, wasn't it?
It was. So, yes, we'll have a pint on you any time. Right. Aditya Pekate, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway, to Mr. Nick Harris. Oh my God, that sounds important.
Formal.
Can we get you to commentate for one race with Matt and Lewis at least? As a modern MotoGP fan, I haven't had the luck to witness your commentating. I've just got to say one thing. Matt and Lewis and Robin Appleyard, Robin, that's his dad, isn't he? Jack Appleyard. Robin was a good motorcycle racer as well.
He was, wasn't he?
Doing a really good job on the world feed, and I'm sure they don't want an old boy like me coming back to butt in. They really
the last thing they want to
it.
hear is, I remember when.
Yeah, I remember one of my favourite expressions. Right, here's one. This is from Pac-Man Pills 4 days ago. What are your thoughts on Toprak moving across and possibly challenging Mark? Keep it up, lads. Love the pod. Well, there we are. I think we've been through that quite a bit. And I think I'll ask you in a second. I think he's got a very tough task, certainly challenging Mark Marquez. History is not on his side, is it?
Not at all. One World Superbike champion has won a Grand Prix. Troy Bayliss.
Yeah, and one more. Ben Spies.
Ben Spies. Beg your pardon. Spies was the only one who won it as a regular
Absolutely,
grid member. Of course, Troy won it as a replacement rider.
That's right.
But I mean, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I can find opinions from people who you have time for, whose opinion you respect, who will tell you that Toprak will win the World Championship next year, and others who will tell you he won't score a point. Nobody knows. The timing still strikes me as odd for one last year of the Michelin tyres and everything, and then everything changes again. I find that a trifle weird. And Yamaha, we don't know, have got the V4 sorted. We'll know more about that later in the year.
Yeah,
The timing strikes me as odd. Let's just leave it at that.
that's right. But it will put a bit of spark into it, certainly in the early rounds, won't it? And he will take time to settle it. He's not going to come in like Marc Marquez and just blow everybody apart.
Don't think
without a shadow of doubt. And everybody I've spoken to have seen him firsthand ever say he is exceptional, absolutely exceptional.
As I think we said with Dr. Rains last week, you're not going to beat Marquez with somebody who's been on that grid for 6 years. You're not going to beat him, even with really good race-winning riders like, say, Brad Binder. You don't hire Brad and think you're going to win the World Championship.
No.
You'd hire Brad and think there's a few front rows and a podium or two here. But if you're a team manager, your job is to find the next world champion. So you're looking at Moto 2, you're looking at Moto 3, and you're looking at Toprak.
Yeah. I think it's terrific for MotoGP, and we've had this discussion last week, didn't we? Say, is it boring what Mark is doing? And we're saying no. When you watch greatness, it isn't boring. But
indeed,
to bring Toprak in, I think is absolutely.
I think it's a real fillip for the championship.
Yeah.
And
we've had a few more people writing in and contacting saying they really like the guests. And we really like having guests. So
we've only had one
guest we
twice.
Top twice, and I think we're going to get him a third time quite soon, perhaps before the Misano round, because of course Marc Marquez could clinch the title in Misano.
Yes,
got Barcelona in a week and a bit's time, but then Misano straight after, and so I think it'll be a good time to bring the good doctor in and say people winning the championship at what stages. And then the week after that, and he has just confirmed that he will come on, is Neil Mackenzie, because
excellent.
You and I look every year, every week down that entry list. Why isn't there a British rider in MotoGP or appearing to come up through Moto 3 and Moto 2? And that's no disrespect to Scott Ogden and Jake Dixon, but there's not a person there you'll say, right, now this is somebody they will be signing up in the next year.
Yeah, there's no one who is a strong bet to get on a factory Moto Grand Prix bike in the next few years. That's the point, isn't it?
That's it. And Neil, of course, I wanted Neil because in the 80s, Neil was the band of British riders that performed regularly in Grand Prix, and very well indeed. Ron Haslam, Ron McElnay, Neil, they all had podium finishes. They didn't win a race. While the Americans were winning, the Australians were winning. And I want to really ask Neil, why weren't you actually winning Grand Prix then? And then, of course, his son rode in Moto 2 much more recently, and we can discuss just what the transition is like and why there's no British riders making it.
Neil wasn't just our credibility in Grand Prix for nearly 10 years. He then put a lot of his own money into his son's racing, looking to get there. So if anybody's qualified to talk on the subject...
I couldn't think of a better... And a really nicer person than Neil to talk about it.
And he talks
back a long time to the Silverstone Armstrong days. It was his first Grand Prix ride, and it was my first job as a PR man. So we go back a long time. And with Chaz Mortimer running the show, it was
blimey.
There's a few stories actually we couldn't talk about.
Yeah, I think lawyers don't. But there was a route for a good young guy who went fast on LC Yamahas in body racing. Stick him on a 250/350. Oh, you're still quick.
Yeah, on the Silverstone.
Let's go Grand Prix racing. Yeah,
and then on the 500s, of course, I remember that first Grand Prix in Japan, Suzuka, 87. And he was in pole position, and I honestly thought he was going to win the race. In fact, Randy Mamola won the race, but Neil looked like he could win the race, and that would have been fun. There was a couple of times at Assen I thought Ron Haslam was gonna win a Grand Prix. But was it the shadow of Barry Sheen? We don't know, but Neil will help us. So Neil's coming on the programme, and we're going to get Martin before then. So please, and if you have any questions, criticisms, anything you want to say, you're one of the lads down the pub.
Yeah.
The only thing you're not doing is putting your hand in your pocket. That's a bit of a shame, but we can't help that at the moment. But perhaps even at some stage, we may be able to have a night in the pub somewhere for the Racing Back fraternity. That would be fantastic.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
But it's very pleasant, and it's like you say, we have a lot of comments coming from a long way away.
Yes, yeah.
From Australia, from the USA, Canada, a guy who corresponds on my Twitter feed from India. It's all all good.
Yeah. Well, we're really pleased that you like it, and we really, really encourage you to give us ideas and questions, criticisms, whatever you like, because we love this sport right to our very bones, don't we? And we love talking about it. We love people of our age do like memories as well. And me in particular would just run on and run on all day long.
Especially when, in many ways, the point of studying history is to learn from it and then point at what's going on today and say,
Yeah, doesn't seem to be happening in the world generally at the moment.
Oh, unfortunately not.
No. Right, Balaton Ring, or the Balaton Park. Very mixed views. I've been reading stuff this morning between two quite prominent journalists. One saying really good, just what the sport needs, a different type of circuit, very, very different competition for everybody. And it's good that they mix them up. Another one, very well-known journalist, saying it's a load of rubbish and it does not fit for MotoGP. Where do you stand, Jules?
I'm afraid I stand with the miserable git.
Yeah.
That it was, and it was Enea Bastianini's crash, wasn't it?
Oh, my golly. I bet you, my heart come up in my mouth.
Oh, and I was watching TNT Sport, and I thought Neil Hodgson had a heart attack.
Yeah.
He was audibly, frightened.
Yeah.
As was, and I was sat there feeling much the same. That was, that's a brand new racetrack. How can that happen?
Yeah. And the beast was frightened, wasn't he? When he started to slide across, then back onto the track on the other part of the track, he was just, we've all seen it before, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, yes, you saw him. That's right. As soon as he hit the deck, he was looking to his left, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Knowing what was coming, which was most of the field. Woof.
And was the track just too tight and too slow for MotoGP bike?
We got a better Grand Prix than I expected.
Yeah, very much. Especially the main race itself.
The main race.
Yeah. The usual outcome.
But, he had to work for it.
Didn't he just? And again, it just showed how good he is. It can be 230 miles an hour to Mugello, can't it? Or give you those tight corners. But full marks to Bezzecchi. He didn't hand over the lead without a good fight, did he?
And that's what, 3 on the bounce, isn't it? That Bezzecchi's been up the sharp end. Really good to see. And Jorge Martin in 4th.
Wow.
That was a fight in that. That's, as somebody said many years ago, when I was commentating, somebody said, that's what world champions do.
Yeah, they do.
And that is a fact. And it was magnificent, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And of course, now we go to Barcelona, Mazzano. His fitness will be getting stronger all the time.
Yeah.
Aprilia have definitely I think they found a way of stopping the bike more easily. That's been the main problem. Zecchi's riding well. Yeah, they're going to be. You can see somebody really pushing Marquez before the end of the season. Really pushing. And perhaps if anybody is, it's going to be Martin.
Yeah, and Bezecchi's given him something to think about for a couple of races, hasn't he? You know,
Yes, he has.
it's
Yeah.
impressive. Acosta and KTM looking like
Oh,
they,
where has that all come from?
yeah, all of a
That's
sudden they're
fabulous to
looking,
see as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we need for this second half of the season. Is Marquez not just cruising to the championship, but having to work a bit for it.
Yeah, he had to work, didn't he? He had to work on Sunday.
Second low of the grid.
But it still had that inevitability about it, didn't it?
Yeah, no one was surprised, were they?
No, they weren't. But once he got past, was it, who did he pass in second? Was it Acosta he passed in second place? I forget who he, and then no, it was Morbidelli, I think, wasn't it? Anyway, once he had Bezecchi in his side,
Morbidelli.
And Bezecchi knew really, but he said, "I am going to delay him and block him, and when he takes me, I'm taking him back." And
Yet we had another very boring sprint race.
Yes,
this has become a pattern. Sprint races are instantly into a pattern, and that's it. Whereas the Grand Prix, even on unpromising tracks like Balaton, or even the A1 ring or whatever we call it this week, the Austrian track, again, it's not much of a racetrack by the standards of a Mugello, a Phillip Island, an Ass and a Silverstone. But we had a fairly tedious Saturday and a pretty entertaining Sunday.
Yeah, Barcelona should be good. There's usually pretty good racing there.
Yeah. It hasn't been resurfaced.
Racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been resurfaced, so it's low grip anyway.
Yeah.
And if it's hot, well, it's Yamaha suffering again, isn't it? That's a recipe for depression in blue.
They're supposed to be bringing the V4 to Misano.
To Misano is the rumour, isn't it? Or some Yamaha people have said that. Let's see if it actually transpires. Yeah.
And Honda. Well, Luca Marini. That's okay. Perhaps the circuits have suited him. They've suited the bike, but never mind. There's a glimmer, isn't there?
Yeah, and Marini's an interesting case, isn't he? I would think he's a bit of an Alex Marquez in that he never seems to take a step backwards. He might stay on that plateau for a month, before he moves forward again.
Yeah,
he doesn't tend to drop down the bottom, and the Honda looked much better, didn't it, in his hands than it has all season.
It did, and let's hope the V4 Yamaha brings something, because it's what the sport's about, isn't it? But there are signs that Aprilia and KTM this season could cause them a few problems, and I think as much as I love watching the Master in action, and boy, you are watching somebody so special.
Oh,
it's nice to see somebody really challenging him, isn't it?
Isn't it, Justin? That is what we need to see. We know we're looking at an all-time great. We know it. And he's on the best bike.
Yeah.
So, he's... so it's my phone making noises. Oh, it's a message from our boss.
Oh, right. Golly.
Happy listeners, happy viewers, he says.
Oh, there you are.
Well, good. That's all right. The man who makes this work is happy.
I tell you what, there's a man behind this called Rich who is amazing.
Yes.
Because he's dealing with two old farts who are not particularly good with the technical side of things.
We don't know how the hell this happens.
We don't. We got no idea. We just talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Cadwell Park. Oh, what a good meeting that was, eh? I enjoyed that, especially that first race, didn't you?
Yes, it was excellent. And we had a change of championship lead.
Yes, we do. A bit of consistency from Ride has put them in the lead.
Have you seen? I looked at the stats.
Oh, please, no, far away.
Ride 2 wins, Ray 11 wins.
Wow.
Ride 13 podiums, Ray 15 podiums. Now here comes the one that might matter. DNFs.
Yeah.
Ride 0.
There you go.
Ray 2.
Yeah.
That's you used the word consistency before I had the chance to trot it out, Nick. But that is the champion doing what champions do.
Yeah, and there's lots of rumours about their futures, isn't there, coming into World Superbike. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So,
So,
that'll be interesting. And that'll be interesting to talk to Neil again. Yeah. They talk about them going into World Superbike. Why isn't there talk about them going into MotoGP?
I mean,
um, Neil said, "Don't expect me to come up with the answer." That's the last thing he said to me.
but you see, Bradley Ray,
Yeah,
a few years ago, could have gone to Moto2
yeah,
after his brilliant debut in the Suzuka 8 Hours with the factory Suzuki team,
yeah,
where he impressed the hell out of the factory. And Suzuki in the UK were fielding PR requests for stories, for their websites and things, every 30 seconds about Bradley. But, I talked to him and he said, well, if you get the wrong team, that's it, your career's gone. And I understand that, but we're back to that feeling that the Grand Prix paddock is a train that stops once.
yeah. One of your favourite, yeah.
And I understand why him and his management didn't want to take it, and also Suzuki were pulling out of Grand Prix, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
So there wasn't. He was a Suzuki boy.
There wasn't a natural.
There wasn't a route. So it's.
Well, when you see them racing the way they did, especially that Saturday race, you think, well, they should be good enough to ride in MotoGP. I don't know the answer. There you go. I don't know the answer. But people used to say to me, well, if you have an Italian or a Spanish passport, you automatically get a ride. That is not true in any way now. If you're British, American, Dutch, or even German, you will get a ride if you're good enough, because they are desperate for people from these countries. Even Australian at the moment, with Jack probably going to drop out, they want to bring people in from different countries, and they're certainly from Great Britain and America.
Well, the number of 250 rides, Leon Aslam, Jay Vincent and others, were put into Spanish teams, and it just didn't. Yeah, it was always good intentions, but the only
very hard, and
the British private team for ages was Paget's.
So please, if you've got an opinion or got the answer, that would
yes, that would help. But you think when the last serious private team out of this country was Paget's, running Jay Vincent.
Yeah.
On and they couldn't get a factory Honda, so that when Jay clearly deserved one, and so not surprisingly they packed up their toys and went home. Had other things to do.
Well, that's right. They found a very good living and a very good competition in World Superbike, Super Sport, British. BSB, of course, is a fantastic championship to be involved with. So
it is indeed. And 2 points apart now?
Yeah, 2 points apart. Wow, it's gonna go to the wire. Then they have this selection process and everything, don't they, for the last round? I get once again an old boy like me, it gets a bit complicated. I just like the lights to go out and see them race.
Yes, this is the shootout, which I know what they brought it in as a panic measure after Leon Camier had the championship won by Easter almost. And it. So at some point, it's not yet. Next round's it's after Donington Park. I don't know. They have a cut-off, and then only the top 6 effectively can win the title.
Yeah,
and I think the first, second, or third year they did that, Ellison was coming back from injury and going fast.
Yeah,
but he didn't quite make it to the cut-off for the shootout.
Yeah,
which was an injustice, and I think it's it's an answer in search of a question that I've never liked it, and I'm mind you, I don't.
Looking at Cadwell, I've got to say, it did bring a few memories back. So here we go.
Go on, Nick.
People in the pub. Dave Locke, very good 50 rider, 4th in the 50 CCT. Roger Cope, runner-up in the Manx. Cliffy Jones, Bantam racing champion for many, many years, and he lapped just under 90 miles an hour on a BSA Bantam.
Oof.
Pretty modified BSA Bantam.
Yeah, slightly.
I have to tell you. And Andrew French, whose claim to fame is he beat Louis Taveri at Mallory Park once on his 125 Honda. So we can meet everywhere. Anyway, the lads were talking. So we got a Lockheed started. He said, I remember going to Cadwell in the 60s. I won both races in the British 50cc Championship. And I thought, yeah, I remember. And then I said, we thought we'd go and celebrate because we were racing at Snetterton the next day. So we got in the old Thames van, off we went to Skegness. And it was in the height of the mods and rockers riots. In we drove in Thames van full of motorbikes, me with a mod haircut and mod clothes. But we only stayed about 10 minutes.
That's probably long enough.
It was probably long enough. And the other one was Cliffy. He was Bantam Racing Championship, and for some reason he got an entry, or they put him in because he was Bantam Racing Champion, to ride in the 250cc national race at Cadwell. He had a 250cc Suzuki 6, a road bike converted to all the others, the Chattertons, and were on these great Yamahas. Cliffy, I think, was on the last row of the grid, but the Suzuki 6 started like... And Cliffy was leading. And he said, I can remember, he could hear the loudspeakers. Who is this man? It's Cliffy Jones leading the way from... But unfortunately, he ended up in the ditch before the end of the first lap. But it was his massive claim to fame at Cadwell Park. Good days. And one more then, 1976. Just started at Motorcycle News. The famous finger from Norrie Laddie, come over here to my desk. We want you to go to Cadwell Park, British Superbike Championship. Oh, great, yeah. Plenty of paddock gossip here, that's fine. Just as I was going out the door, he said, I'm the Barry Sheen column. My bloody heart stopped. Oh my God, my hero. Man, I'd gone a year before to Daytona to watch on a Greyhound bus all the way from New York. And when I got there, it had the crash and he never rode it. But other stories anyway. So off I went to Cadwell Park. And there was Barry's motorhome. And I walked past it 12 times, backwards and forwards, before I dared knock on the door. And then to knock on the door. Barry's mum asked the door and said, hello, I'm Nick. I'm the new man from Motorcycle. Come in, Nick. Stephanie was there. This is the new man from Motorcycle. Oh, yeah, Barry wasn't there. Have a cup of tea and a biscuit. So we said, Barry comes in. Iris says, Barry, this is Nick. He's the new man at Motorcycle News, and you've got to be nice to him, she said. Barry said, what out Nicholas, which he called me till he sadly passed away. A great friendship was for. He said, after the race, come and do the column, and I'm going to show you something. It was a fantastic race meeting. He had two brilliant races against Mick Grant. Of course, Mick then on the Kawasaki was so good.
Yes.
And Barry Ditchburn on the Kawasaki.
The other Kawasaki.
Barry won both, but they were fabulous races. So Jude, I go, not so nervous this time, knock on the door. Barry said, come on, Nicholas, I'm going to show you something. So we go along to the organiser's office. Wilkinson, was it, Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, ran Cadwell. And there's this queue of riders, as always, waiting for their prize money and start money and any other money. Let's go. And he sat at this big desk like the headmaster with a big ledger. And he was going, yeah, so-and-so, yeah, you won, so-and-so, right, yeah. Barry never queued up for anything, did he? Straight to the front. He went, Barry, he reached down under the desk and brought out a big plastic bag and just gave it to him. And off we went. And of course, Barry would appear at places like Cadwell and other Alton Park and places. He would put 15,000 people on the gate. Just riding there. Yep. And just the final sight I remember of Barry, I left the circuit, having worked quite a bit, 2-3 hours after I was. There was a queue 100 yards long outside his motorhome. Barry was sat there on the steps, signing, talking, signing parts of people's bodies he wouldn't want to talk about. Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing.
He was
That was Cadwell for me. The wonderful, wonderful memories. Just seeing it on the television on Saturday made me think of it.
And I can tell
Right, Saturday, you get a word in now. Jonathan Ray. Over to you.
Jonathan Ray deserves a bit more time than we've got left.
Yeah, fair
We
enough.
have
Well,
about
give it
5
time
left.
Another time then.
We will maybe, because we don't have a race. Yeah, we've got an empty-ish week coming up, and
Yes, we
do
have,
it
yeah.
justice. So I'm going to get my Barry Sheen story in before we get the 2-minute warning, Nick.
Right.
Which was, I'm riding back from Spa, from the Belgian Grand Prix, on a Suzuki Turbo, horrible motorcycle, but never mind. Something's coming up at very high speed in my mirrors. Goes past in a roar of tyre noise and beep, 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 beep on the horn. Green Rolls Royce BS7 registration. And I found myself standing on the footrest, giving it all that.
Oh, brilliant.
And you just know that every other British motorcycle on the way back to the ferry got the same greeting, don't you?
Of course it did.
Just, I do everything thinking, what the hell's that coming up behind me?
Same. I bet it was the same race. We're going in the main entrance at Spa. Rolls Royce draws up, screecher brakes, windows open. What, oh boys, you got any tickets? No. You got a great handful of passes. I just threw them out the window. See you then, boys. Have a good time.
There was the other thing about we will have to do a Barry.
Oh wow!
About 10 we could do several, but his memory for fans. Like some bloke could say, "Can you sign this card? It's my sister. She's not very well."
Yeah.
And next year at the same meeting, the bloke Barry would catch him and go, "Hey, how's your sister?" He had an astonishing memory and touch for stuff like that with the fans. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we had a cat called Marmalade, and he rang up the house once, and I wasn't there, and he rang Sheila, my wife, and I said, "Well, hello, Sheila." I said, "How's Marmalade?" That was Barry, wasn't it? He knew how to play it, and if he didn't know somebody's name, what did he say? "What a Ace, how you doing, mate? How are you?" They used to go, "Barry Sheen called me Ace."
I know. He was clever. I know there was the usual manoeuvrings and power struggles going on behind, but he was remarkable with the fans. Yeah. Absolutely remarkable.
Well, he put the sport in Britain where Carl Fogarty got close, I think, didn't he? When he won.
Yes,
Carl was a very different character to Barry, which is absolutely fair enough. They're both brilliant motorcycle racers.
Yeah. And so Barry was loved. Carl was loved.
Yeah.
And then you go sort of to the other World Superbike champions. Hodgson was liked enormously. Yeah. And James Toten, I always feel, was respected.
Oh, that's
because he was, he was just slightly distant in character, James, wasn't he? You always knew there was a lot going on. He wasn't going to be talking about with you. But all...
Well, we're up to Christmas now.
We are, aren't we?
Barry and Steph were the Beckhams of the 70s, weren't they? They were David and Victoria Beckham in this country.
Yeah, people
on the front page of the papers just as much as they were on the back pages.
Yeah, that's motorcycles weren't even on the back pages before.
No, they weren't. No.
So it's wonderful. Anyway, Nick, the 2-minute warning is just about to sound.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw it in. Jonathan Ray, the greatest superbike rider you've ever seen?
That he's in the mix, isn't he?
Fine, yeah.
He is. I mean, go back, I think an undervalued Doug Poland with the records he set, I never thought those numbers would be beaten. No. It was Jonathan Ray who beat them.
Yeah.
Ben Spies didn't hang around for long enough.
No, he didn't. He went to MotoGP. Yeah.
And you could almost argue the same with, would Cal Crutchlow have done much?
Yeah, that's right.
Would he have stayed?
Yeah.
But he's up there. Carl Fogarty, obviously.
Of course.
I mean, Kaczynski was remarkable. But again, just dropped down, won it, and went again. It was quirky as you like. But Jonathan Ray, 6 in a row, and he knew what it took to win. He had a good bike, and that Kawasaki was the only one that the factory rehomologated every year just to give it a little. And he had an absolutely brilliant crew chief in Perry Reber, who they communicated brilliantly.
Yeah.
He knew what it took and he had it, and he exploited it to the full.
Right, so we'll have a good chat about Jonathan Ray next week. I remember his 2 Grand Prix appearances. Where he was very impressive when he replaced Casey Stoner. We'll be thinking about the forthcoming Barcelona MotoGP race. And as I said, you've got any questions, any queries, anything you want to say, please let us know, because we love to hear from you. We really do. So thanks, everybody. Jules, thanks a lot. And everybody out there, stay safe out there.
Ciao a tutti.